Jeff and I'm here again, and I'm going to give the preface to the introduction to this book, Working with the French. A book or a crash course, or what you want to call this thing, on YouTube here. Just a playlist of videos, which is ongoing, but it's going to be pretty, it'll be able to finish up quickly because I actually wrote an article on this in Multilingual Magazine, at which I slight said in the teaser video, the trailer, but I wrote an article on this. I was asked actually, right, Jeff, back in 2004, 2003. I was asked, Jeff, hey, do you get any content for something like for a guide? We want to make they might want to make a guide on getting started in Europe. And I said, hey, I got an idea. Why it's something called Working with the French. So that's what I ended up doing. I pulled it off pretty quickly, um, and I had it validated by a number of people too. People in France, and one of the main experts in French and American cross-cultural relations, called his name is Pascal Baudry, and he's really well known. Um, and he read through it. He said nothing to say. He sent me his book, which is on the same topic, just 200 pages longer. So, and he had done a lot more, a lot of background research and actual survey work on this. So my stuff was not anecdotal. Okay, mine was more than anecdotes. They were, was had sufficient content, and it reflected what his said. So what I'm doing here is I wrote I wrote that article. There were actually a number of versions of that article. Getting up to a certain point, as people were reviewing it and making comments on it and saying, and most of the comments that I received were, "You forgot this and forgot that." Okay, back then. And the problem that I ran into is I only had 3,000 words, so I had to keep it under a certain word limit, and you can only go for so long. So there are many places in that original article where it was basically like I had like 5 or 6 paragraphs, each paragraph at a point about the kind of the things that were the French. We work in the bubble of all French people, and I had, I don't know, between 5 and 10 other points that cause conflict, or when you're working multinationally or internationally. And it wasn't, it wasn't positive or negative. It was just the different kind of settings that things work and they don't work as well. So what I'm going to do, and many times in that article, in the specific paragraphs I ran into, was um, I would say I don't have enough space to write about more about this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and I'm going to do the more version. So I'll cover the kind of the topic and I'll say a little bit more because I can do this in the video format. That's much easier for people to consume, to watch, and watch, it more slowly, and to kind of think about it. So this is kind of the extended version of that article. It's easier to do in a video format. Uh, Way faster to do. So I'm going to do that. And let's think of it. It's beyond the 2004 version. This is another 15. And I actually wrote that article after having lived in France for 15 years, having married into the French culture, having just starting having children in the French culture. That's when they were really young kids. Very, in fact, I think it was, the year my adopted son arrived. So, I mean, it was kind of just the year after. So it was pretty early. And having, I've been in a lot of nonprofit associations, and have been in a lot of different, the whole gamut, if you can imagine, of French life. So many different music conservatories, churches, whatever you want to, all these different things. And sports associations, and so I do try to cover a kind of range of things, but the general things. So this one, and this is 15 years later, and businesses and industry and governments, and so I mean I've had a lot of experience in all these different things. And the goal of this is 15 years later, to kind of add the few chapters I didn't get to add in the last time because people said I forgot it. And I said I just didn't have enough space. I was not allowed to add more chapters in, or more points, or more paragraphs. I just had to decide what I was going to cut out of the existing draft. So this is going to kind of cover all those missing paragraphs and add to the paragraphs that I didn't have space to add to. because you can only say so much in, a 4-page article, or a 3,000 word article, whatever. I don't remember the actual word limit. It's been so long. So this will kind of allow us to do it and chunk it up into pieces, and to allow people to read it and watch it at their leisure, and to make comments on it, and to think about it, and to give feedback and all that. So this adds another 15 years of experience on top of it, which continues to grow day by day. I think I learn things every day. So doesn't matter which culture it is. So hopefully this will, many of you will benefit from this, to be able to understand and how they tick, how they think, how they react. Again, this is not every single French person will be this way, but this is kind of a general thing. Yes, generalizations do exist. Yes, kind of general stereotypes do exist. Uh, and some people say we don't have stereotypes. Yes, you can. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about those stereotypical things. No, I'm not talking about, the person with the French beret with the baguette under his arm. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about cultural traits, and things that and I see these same things in my children, so who are now late teenagers. So I see the same cultural traits that they have picked up over the past 15 additional years, right? So they picked them up. So yeah, these do exist, and we're going to kind of cover them in this book series, and it can evolve. Uh, so I won't probably be wearing the same clothes every time, because I'm doing them as I go. Sometimes I'll have a number of them, and then we'll have some other things, and we'll see how it goes. So thanks for listening, and thanks for your feedback. And let's see how you can as you can learn how to work better with the French in all different ways. Thanks so much, and let's get to the next chapter.